Oh, it's fun, crazy. It's painful, but it's wonderful. What is the name?
It's Royce Unchained.
Patrick Royce, where should we start?
I don't know. There's not much to start with. The NBA All-Star game doesn't do anything for me. We don't have football. The Four Nations, whatever the hell it is drawing some fans to watch it, I guess. The TV
Yes.
audience was good, but I have not watched a minute of it because I don't really care who wins. Although I missed some fisticuffs the other night.
3 and 9 seconds.
Why did we do that?
Set the
What
tone.
was- Yeah, but who was setting the tone? Us?
Oh, the Kachuk brothers.
The Chuck brothers.
Oh, they're nuts. Yeah.
But what are they setting? What are they trying to do? Make it seem like it's important, or what were they doing?
That we're not backing down. That those can and they so the political atmosphere helps because the Canadians then boo the U.S. anthem mercilessly, and so there's more of a but it's fun to watch. It's been good hockey.
Isn't the Kachucks originally Canadian and then ended up growing up in Phoenix or something?
They were born. I think they were born in St. Louis. Their dad was or is Keith Kachuk, who was a really good player. Who yes, I think is Canadian.
Isn't it a three-generation Kachuk family? I thought it was three generations.
No, that's
Grandpa played in the NFL, NHL too.
Walt Kachuk spelled it differently.
Oh, okay. Well, I was confused then. I thought it was a three-generational one. The Keith is he Canadian who was playing in St. Louis then? And
I'm looking it up right now. Oh no, you know what? Melrose, Massachusetts.
Melrose. Okay,
Keith's from Melrose.
So we're offended that the Canadians are booing the national anthem. So we're fighting with them. Is that what the deal was?
I think they were fighting because they can.
Yeah.
3 fights in 9 seconds. Because in '81 in the Boston Garden, when the North Stars pushed back, that was 7 seconds in Bobby Smith and Steve Casper. So we had 3 fights basically within the span of the first fight in Boston.
Does Canada have any tough guys or not? Did these guys were the most to be skaters or what? Both teams.
Yeah, it's mostly high end skill guys. It's
so
not
I was
fighters.
looking at the standings today. There's 2 games today, but do we already know who's playing in the championship game or what happens?
The U.S. is playing in Thursday's championship game. If Canada wins today against Finland, they'll go to the championship game, and ESPN is crossing their fingers.
Oh yes, they want that
we get that rematch.
They want this. So Canada only has to beat. I thought we were playing Finland today. Canada's playing Finland.
I thought we had Sweden.
Oh, maybe we do. Okay, maybe we do. So then Sweden would, for Canada not to make it, would Sweden have to beat us and they'd have to lose to Finland? Is that right? Or?
I think so.
Oh no, we don't know.
Yeah,
but we want it to be a Canadian rematch. Where will that be played?
Boston.
Okay, all right.
Boston. Well, it's Canada, Finland, Sweden, U.S. You're right.
Okay. Now I looked at the TV schedule, and only the U.S. games on TV. Is that right?
Nope.
No.
They're both on.
Oh, well, the other one didn't make it, I guess. Okay. One in the listings I saw.
The Star Tribune must have taken that.
We don't care about that one. We don't.
Well, my sports
page
was so big. Let me
open
it up.
The traditional Monday pamphlet now, the Star Tribune.
That's it. There's no guts.
No. And with huge photos too. We don't have any copy. We got huge photos. Yep. There's 3 huge photos in there. We're
Daytona.
We're slapping that baby together. There's no doubt about it. So.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Anyway, yeah, it's but the hockey Four Nations is definitely more successful than the NBA, whatever they're doing. LeBron's team won. I saw, even though LeBron wasn't there, right? LeBron wasn't in the game.
He didn't play.
He didn't play, but he did show up, right? Was he there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any. But I didn't even know what was going on. Did they divide it into 4 teams or 3 teams or what? Okay.
4 teams.
Okay. But so that we're done with that nonsense. I never thought that, you know, a couple of years from now, when there's 18 NFL games, we'll have this will be Super Bowl weekend. So are those two All-Star things going to have to be moved back another week then? Because they're certainly not going to take on the Super Bowl.
Here's my idea. Can we stop with All-Star games? Aside
Yeah,
from baseball. Aside from baseball.
baseball's a bit of a farce, but they
Yes.
can still play the game. They can.
Correct.
It's the game. They pitch, catch, and try to put the ball in play and try to catch the ball when you hit it. Unlike we're not gonna intentionally have no defense in baseball. You're the guy's gonna try to catch the ball if you hit it to him.
Well,
So that's the difference.
and aren't All-Star games a relic of like when you were a kid or I was? Because it feels like now I don't think a kid now gives a crap because they love players. They can watch their highlights
Videos, yes,
on like YouTube or like on Twitter. I think the whole formula of what made All-Star games and like basketball and hockey cool is now gone. So let's just
yes.
stop.
When did I was thinking about this? When did football stop tackling, and then ended up getting the game canceled? Because remember, when Adrian Peterson was the hero out in Hawaii.
Yep.
It they weren't exactly hitting viciously. That would have been his rookie year, but they were still trying to tackle, right? I mean, they were still. It wasn't a complete fiasco then, was it? So that would have been '07. That would have been
Yeah. I don't
15
remember.
years. Yeah, 15, 16, 17 years ago when they stopped. And now I didn't see this. I should have checked this. Did anybody, because it's the NFL, do people still watch the silliness, the flag football and that stuff? Do we
I
know?
didn't look. I have
I
no
don't.
idea.
Because if you found out people were watching, then you'd just be embarrassed for the country, wouldn't you? That they would actually be supporting this. So
And the Pro Bowl actually did ratings. They finally just canceled it because it was crap, but it was
yeah,
drawing people. The game
yeah,
itself.
yes. And was there a time when it was played after the Super Bowl, and then we moved it up
Yes.
to the week ahead because it used to be
Yes.
played? Pe- Players from the Super Bowl would be in then, like Brady'd be in the Pro Bowl too the next week, right? So
Yes. Yes. When it was
and
in Hawaii,
yeah,
it definitely involved the Super, it was after the Super Bowl.
well, that was a big deal out in Hawaii. I was out there, not when it was being held, but I was out there like a week before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I mean, it was big anticipation and all kinds of publicity. And we might even been there like on a Monday and a Tuesday when the pros first started showing up, and there were already stories in the paper and stuff like that. So it used to be, I don't know, the whole concept of All Star games. I think. What do you think? You think the NFL, NBA ruined it first? I think their NBA ruined it first. They stopped playing defense first, and
Ooh,
then the
yeah.
NHL stopped playing
Yeah, you're probably
defense.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. And then because the NHL, I had games, 8-6 or something, not 25-22 or something like that. So you're telling me, as they said, uh, next year we break right now for the Olympics, and that's going to be 2 weeks too,
Yep.
a couple of weeks,
Yep.
and then there's going to be a World Cup that runs for 2 weeks
In
in
20, in
eight, 28,
27,
28
they'll
or
take a
20.
year off. So 20, so yeah, 28. 27 will be a break.
And 27, they'll still take a break even without any games,
I
or
guess
what
they'll
do you
do an
want?
All-Star game again, which I don't think they should do anymore.
Okay, okay. They're going to do an All-Star game. Okay, that's well, it is really weird because the month of February, I believe, don't our Wild have 3 home games, and the month of March, when that place is full over there with hockey tournaments and wrestling
They've got like
tournaments and
11 home
everything else,
games in
they got
March.
11 home games.
It's
Must be a lot
ridiculous.
of must be a lot of Sundays and Tuesdays, huh? Because
Yeah, it's definitely some afternoon games.
yeah, because the place is full. with both hockey tournaments wrestling's still over there. Wrestling's I can't ever remember. I can't remember if wrestling's at Target. I remember wrestling last time I was at the wrestling. It was in St. Paul, but I can't remember when. I can't remember where that's held. But the basketball, I guess, is at Williams and so I was. We were talking about. If you don't know about this if you've been reading the Star Tribune, but there was a big basketball fiasco on Thursday night in the Hopkins-Wayzata basketball game. And there's videos out there. Ryan James has done a good job of keeping up with it. Apparently, Wayzata might suspend somebody. If you've seen the video, the only person to suspend would be the coach for not allowing him to shake hands, right? I mean, none of the players seemed to do anything.
The players were fine, I thought.
Yeah. So anyway, Hopkins, Wayzata, the two best teams in 4A probably. Wayzata beat them like 2-3 weeks ago in a 1-point game, and now Hopkins beats them in a 1-point game. I guess the Kenny Novak Jr., who's still goofy at 70 years old and screams and hollers and goes crazy with the refs, and he gets away with it. And the guy from Wayzata was all worked up too, I guess, and it went on all night. Apparently, there's a Hopkins kid who's a big flexor. Every time he scores a basket or one of his team scores a basket, he's strutting around like he's an NBA guy. And then Wayzata felt like they got fouled. The 1-point game felt like they got fouled with 5 seconds to go. They didn't get a call. Apparently, the refs made no calls all night. They just let everybody get away with anything. Anyway, Hopkins wins by 1. And the Wayzata coach, the team lines up, the players lines up, and he waves them off the court. The coach waves them off the court. And then the Hopkins students start chasing the Wayzata players off the court as they're leaving, and somebody throws a garbage can at them, a player. And anyway, it's quite the situation because in all likelihood these two teams will play in the section final. That for instance, now in football they seed the big class, right? They still don't seed the big class. In basketball they still do it geographically, which is stupid. But anyway, the Hopkins and Wayzata, a couple of weeks, they'll probably be playing for 2-3 weeks, playing for the right to go to the state tournament. I'm thinking, which got me thinking, I was exchanging texts with somebody. The state high school league, they're such morons, and they're so worried about giving the tiniest school in the state the same vote as the biggest schools in the state on what happens. And these morons in the 4-class system still have the 4A and 3A quarterfinals starting at 10 a.m. in 2 different arenas on Wednesday. So remember a few years ago, we had Apple Valley with maybe both Trey and Tyus playing another big team at 10 a.m. on Wednesday when they could, if they played on Thursday night in the semifinals, they'd have 15,000 there instead of 5,000. But they don't want to, I guess they don't want to pay to have the 1As and 2As come to town and spend the night in a hotel or something. So they play them in they play them in prime time on Thursday so they can put them on TV. So they're so stupid about the way they treat basketball. It's just incredible. And I was exchanging texts with somebody who's a longtime high school coach who doesn't coach high schools anymore. But we were talking about the basketball tournament with 4 classes is never going to be what it was or come close to being what the hockey is now. But to not try to maximize it is just idiotic. And so now I don't know when the Hopkins-Wayzata A won't get to the state tournament. One of them won't get to the state tournament. And B, if they do get to the state tournament, they're probably going to be playing 10 a.m. on Wednesday. What a bunch of dummies they are on the whole basketball thing.
So where will that game then, if they do have a rematch, be played?
I am not sure where the section is. I think there's 6. I think there's section 6. So I don't know. Maybe a big high school arena is all Maple Grove or someplace.
They might want to have decent security for it.
I have not looked. Oh yes, you might. Might not have. I wonder if apparently Wayzata's going to take some action. Hopkins played 2 nights later and hadn't 2 days later and hadn't taken any action. I don't know if they've seen some students that they're going to reprimand. If they do, they won't make it public. That's for sure. If they, they won't. You won't get the names or anything of the students. But it was. I guess it was crazy. Doogie was there. I don't know, Doogie. Have you guys had Doogie on this weekend?
No, tomorrow.
Doogie was an eyewitness to the nonsense. So I guess, in fact,
I saw the clips. It could have been a lot worse. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. If the Hopkins players had turned around, I mean, if the Wayzata players had turned around when they started taunting them as they left the court, it could have gotten really ugly. There's no doubt about it. But the place was jam packed.
I know.
Hopkins is one of those suburban schools where basketball is the big sport and hockey is just something that occurs out there. So anyway, it was quite the wild evening, to say the least, I guess.
Yeah, I was because the clip I saw at the end there too. What's scary is when the Hopkins students start to follow the Wayzata players.
Yes,
like that's where you probably need a little bit more security to make sure that does not take place.
I don't know who's there. They probably got 2 chubby old, guys in uniforms who are volunteer cops or something in Hopkins or something. They don't, they probably, they. The coaches had a whole lot to do with it. I mean, Kenny wants every call that's ever been made for the last
And the Wayzata
40
coach,
years. Yeah, and the Wayzata
yanked
coach,
him off,
Netler or something like that. Not having them do the handshake. We don't need the handshake. Leave. Save the handshakes for the 7th game of the Stanley Cup.
Oh, I think yeah.
Yeah, we got to shake hands for everything. It's not a display of sportsmanship because it's so insincere. Okay, it's when it becomes routine, it's completely insincere. In fact, I was moved at 6:30 this morning to suggest we got to stop playing the anthem all the time. Why do we have to have the anthem before every game? Let's have the anthem before the state high school tournament, the championship game. Play the anthem. That's okay. The first game of the world, opening day. Play the anthem, right? Play the anthem when the other team has their opening day too. And then first game of the World Series, 7th game of the World Series, All-Star Game. That's enough. 5 times a year, the anthem. And Super NFL, Super Bowl, maybe even the conference championship games. Play the anthem. We got to you make it routine. It's just the other day though, you missed it you weren't at the Timberwolves game the other day. We had the Eastview Glee Club. 50 seconds max.
Oh yeah,
this
I was
gal
there.
went out there and went
I was
like
sitting upstairs.
this, and
That's great.
Went like this. Boom! They sang it. There was no big long, dramatic pauses. We sang it. It was great. The greatest anthem I've heard in years at a sporting event.
Yep.
Nobody tried to. They did their job. They sung the anthem. That's
my problem. Is it's got to have a shot clock of sorts. The Twins is the best. Just bring out every little kid's choir that you can find.
Because they're fed, because those kids are just trying to get it finished before they forget what the words are.
That's exactly right. That's what I want.
That's right. Quick. If a guy brings out a trumpet, I'm sitting down. I am not standing up for one of those 2-minute anthems with some guy
How
with a
about the Super
trumpet.
Bowl where the performer actually like looped in 3 lines, at the end.
Added some stuff.
Well, no, he just repeated stuff that doesn't get repeated.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't see Kendrick's halftime show. In fact, I've never seen Kendrick anyplace, but it wasn't too good, huh? Did
Who
you watch
knows?
it?
Yeah, I did. I don't understand. He's got the beef with Drake and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
why
too
is he?
old. I got no clue.
Well, why is he taking shots at Drake during
I
halftime? I don't
I
know.
but the problem is, first, I don't get this, but it's like every old white guy has to chime in. I got no idea what's going on.
No,
I can't chime in. I got no idea. All
no,
I'll say is that when they had that spat of Springsteen and McCartney and Petty, it wasn't great.
no,
It's the
no.
Super Bowl halftime show. I don't give a damn.
They had the Rolling Stones in Detroit when I was in there,
Yeah,
and they only did like 3 songs.
right.
Now they've kind of stretched it out. So they, first of all, I guess with the Stones they let a certain amount of people out on the field too. I can't remember,
They
but
always do. Yes, they
it
did.
it always takes longer to put the stage up than
Yep.
But it's I mean that's fine. I don't know. I don't know who. I don't know anything about Kendrick, so I don't know
I don't
what
either.
it
That's the
was.
thing.
But yeah,
Knock
it's
yourself out. Have fun.
yeah, that's right. But make it quicker. Make it the 40. I heard the best thing I heard Brady say, and I turned it down after a while. 'Cause I got sick of the cliches. Was that you do have to prepare differently he said a 4 hour and 15 minute game, which was
Yep.
I'm sure the NFL did not like that comment that reminding people how long these Super Bowls can take. So although maybe the 4:15 for him was when they had that little comeback against Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
I've told you my idea. Put the halftime show in a huge venue, sell tickets and show it, but don't have it on the field.
yeah, that'd be good. Oh,
Find a
you can have it. You can put it on the big video boards in the
yeah,
stadium, right?
yeah, but don't touch the field so that we can get going.
Hmm. Maybe in that case the Super Bowl always have to be at Indianapolis, which is smart enough to have the all the stuff right next to each other in there,
Put it in New
the
York though. I
conventional.
don't give a damn where.
Yeah,
Like the halftime show can be wherever. Sell tickets, have it go longer. They
yeah,
just don't have to show it during the game.
yeah. If you're only paying 8,000-9,000 bucks for a ticket, you don't deserve the halftime show live, too, do
I wouldn't
you?
want the halftime show.
No, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. So, what? You know what's funny these days? When you go online and I don't know if it's Sports Illustrated or something that's trying to get you. Is it the Sports Illustrated site or trying to get you uh, to click on it by like saying Vikings make decision on Darnold, right?
Somebody does that. Yes.
Yeah,
I,
they
I forget
haven't
who
made
that
the
is.
decision on Darnold, and
No.
it comes on there, and it's all like Vikings decide what to do with line. Well, no, they haven't, but it's.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. I was talking with somebody about this yesterday. With as good as AI is now in sending out fake stuff, how is it going to be 5 years from now? You're not
Oh,
going to. You go online now. I mean, you go online 5 years from now. You're not going to have any idea if you're reading the truth or not. It's going to be incredible what's going on with if they get more sophisticated. They can create videos that are completely false that make
oh
you
yeah.
think that they're true, and the politically it's incredible. So what is your early impressions from the spring training reports?
I wish they would just commit to Varlin being in the bullpen is my
Yes,
biggest thing.
yeah,
Quit this. We're
let's
not sure.
yeah. Well, you plus last year you couldn't say it because you didn't know, but now you got the
Right.
three guys that came up last year, late Zebby and Festa, and you got about 7 starters, right? And then you got the Morris kid that they liked that was in St. Paul briefly.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They can just say Louis. Louis a reliever, and last year Louis wanted to be a starter. Louis, the way Louis pitched, Louis should just want to have a chance to be in the big leagues.
Correct.
I think, Louis, would you rather be a starter because we got a good notch for you in Wichita, or do you want to be in the bullpen? So that we can solve that problem very quickly.
Are we trying not to hurt his feelings? This is what I don't get.
I don't know. They're afraid to. The Rocco is. I think Rocco's equivocating is at an all-time high down there from what I've been reading so far. He won't. They pay $1 million for this first baseman, which isn't guaranteed. He's not on the roster, and they're talking about him like he's locked up the position.
I know.
He's been rotten for 2 years.
I know.
He hasn't hit for. There's a reason. There's a reason he was floating around, and Seattle didn't want him, and for a lousy $1 million. So do not declare that he's your first baseman. You know,
No platoon. He's just going to play.
Huh? Yeah.
I said no platoon. He's just going to play.
No,
that was the quote.
we don't have to. We really, Rocco. What the hell are you talking about? There are cases like this that guys had good years, and then it turned out they were frauds, and they didn't.
He might not make the team, Pat. There's a chance he might not make the team. That's what's so funny about this whole thing.
Yes, yeah, but it's we're declaring that the first base problem has been solved with a $1 million free agent that nobody else wanted. So, because he can catch the ball at first base. Okay.
Well, you know, the one thing I really don't miss about being on a beat, though, and we're seeing it now the past week plus from Florida, is the inevitable stories about how everyone who had a bad year
is going to have a good year.
Has turned it around.
Yeah, we had it on that catcher that they got from the Dodgers, who was supposed to be a number 1 prospect.
Yes.
Yeah, well, he's a number 1 prospect, and 2 years later they're giving him away. They must have, and when you read about him, you say, "Oh, my number 1 prospect," and he had this stats when he was, 18 or something. But the last 2 years, he struck out 1/3 of the time and hit 190. So that's
Ty France. Ty France. I've turned it. It was hard to play with a fractured foot, but now it's not fractured, and I'm going to be back. And it's just always the same.
Colome or whatever the hell it is. I never can pronounce his name. We also have declared him to be back from having the bone chips in his elbow.
Yep.
We sure like signing those injured pitchers, don't they? I think Falvey calls anybody in every week, calls them in the winter and say, "Any injured pitchers out there you think we can get in here? We can get them cheap. We can get some injured guys cheap, and maybe he can turn out some pitch." Well, we also had the traditional spring optimism from Paddock too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's
35 starts, was it? Like 3 guys have done it in the last 10 years, and he's like, "That's what I want to do."
Mm-hmm. He's also, what he slipped in there again a couple of times in the story I read. He referred to Chris Paddock as Chris Paddock.
Oh yeah, yeah, third person.
Yeah, I love that. I missed that with Herschel.
That's not good for Chris Paddock, he said.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. That's one of my great things. What can we talk about kindly here? I've been a little negative here so far on this edition of Ricey Unchained. What are we optimistic about? Nice win for the Gopher basketball
Just gonna
team.
say, how about Ben Johnson? They come back from 10 down?
Yeah, and I guess Eric is not having a good first year out there at Southern Cal, and they come back and beat them. They're now one game ahead in the race for the tournament. That being the Big Ten
tournament.
Yeah,
couldn't help yourself there.
Yes, they're 5 and.
And I saw a story today declaring that a bunch of recruits who watched that game are now very high on the Gophers.
Oh, they are. I did. I did see that. What the guy who was there was excited, and then the other guys were watching from around the play,
Yep.
around the rings. And I'll tell you one thing: if Ben doesn't come back, he's not going to be able to blame the Star Tribune.
No, he
he's
he
not
will
going to
not have
be.
been run out of
He's
town.
not going to be. He's not going to be able to say the Star Tribune wasn't kind enough to me. Goodbye, goodbye.
No, he won't.
Oh, it's. I don't know. I'm conflicted. Are you? You're kind of. He's got to go, guy, aren't you, Ben?
I I think so, but then now he's winning enough games where I'm not positive. I think
And
he's
the
gone,
other
but
thing is
I'm
that
not sure.
and you get
I feel for him.
and there's the idea that I was looking at some of the Gopher holders the other day about that subject, and we still got a couple of people saying this program is a sleeping giant with because Minnesota's producing so many basketball players.
Oh,
All we got to do is get somebody that keeps them at home. They don't care about that anymore. They've all been out. The hotshot players have all been out playing in showcase summer tournaments in Vegas and
correct.
all over the place. They get to get away from their high school girlfriends and their, who they want to dump anyway, and get away from the parents, and
Yeah, that's the
they're
thing.
out. They just got not the old now it's you get a Minnesota kid, it's okay, fine. If you get one out of the top five, it's probably going to be fortunate. It's not like we're going to close the borders with
Well, and who
anything.
kept him home? Like Tubby
Yeah.
couldn't do it, and Munson couldn't
No,
do.
Patino. That was a big reason Patino got fired. That he
Yeah,
didn't get Jalen Suggs and Chet Holmgren. Well, no kidding.
right.
You know. Uh,
And Ben, I feel bad for Ben. If he doesn't get fired, I'm fine with that. I just don't know. But as we've discussed before, Pat, unless the school is going to put money and time and effort into the program, I don't know what matters. I just don't
yeah,
think it.
that's true.
They're stuck.
Yes, they got a lousy arena. And they got their NIL money is they basically spent all their NIL money on Dawson Garcia to keep one guy this
Yep.
year. And Dawson gave him a bargain. I think he's only getting 400.
Yep.
Pharrell Payne got 500. And
And scored about 7 points on Saturday too. We got more
yes,
than that from Dawson.
yeah, Elijah Hawkins has got a bunch of money. I don't know how he's doing, but they and we'll this year they're all leaving. They're all seniors, and that's not a bad thing. But
Right.
he's gonna have to, who's ever the coach, gonna have to go out and get 7 new ones again next year to go with the 2 or 3 recruits.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a coach goes, I what they sign now. Somebody was trying to explain this to me.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't the letter. It isn't that binding letter of intent
No,
anymore.
that's gone.
It's just yes, I'm going to come to your school,
Yes.
but if you don't want to, you can switch. I think. I don't know. I
Well, it
can't.
means nothing.
No, not at all. Meanwhile, the highly rated uh, team that we can hear right here on Score North 1500 AM, the Tommies, first place in the Summit League with that win against Omaha on Saturday. Now, my kid from Madelia that I wrote about 3 years ago, I went down there. Jacine Glover had a good game. He's not a starter at Omaha, but he had 17 or 18, but not enough to beat the Tommies who scored 90. So
They're a
it,
juggernaut, Pat.
yeah, it's too bad they're still in that place where they can barely squeeze 2,000. I don't think they can even put 2,000 in it. That was definitely nice arena built for the Division 3, and the new one opens. I wonder if they're going to give the neighbors a free guided tour through the new arena when it's open there. Bring in your sign, and we're going to, have a the sign that you got in your lawn, bring that in, and then we'll feed you all brunch and watch the stadium.
If
How's
they're
that sound?
smart, they'll charge for parking in their driveway for as many cars
Yes,
as they can fit in. That's what I would do.
they got to get the city to go along with that. It's a little tough on Cretan there that
Oh,
people back it up there, but you could, you just got to get some cops. But anyway, it's they're having fun over. I haven't been over there since I haven't seen a home game this year. I got to get over there and see a home game. So.
yeah, because you went down to St. John's and
I was at St.
Gustavus.
Peter, yeah, Gustavus, St. John's. Man, that was a wrestling match. Whew. That was a physical tilt, old-fashioned ball there. St. John's kind of likes to run up and down the court and shoot threes, and they're tough too. But Gustavus is 15 and 0, and they got one left in the conference.
Mm.
There's another league that's stupid though, the MIAC though. In basketball, you got a round and a half, right? So this year, St. John's, Hamlin, and who's fourth? The top four teams each only played each other once. You got to look at what last year's standings were
Oh, okay.
and make your schedule like that. St. John's and Gustavus were 1-2 last year. You can't put out a schedule for next year when they're playing each other once.
Right.
Do it. Do your round and a half based on what the standings were a year ago.
Right.
But they don't do that. It's that I could help a lot of conferences with if they brought me in state high school league. I could straighten them out.
No more
I could
handshakes.
straighten out the MIAC handshakes, not routinely. You know, national state championship game. Yes, it's seventh game. Seventh game. It used to be the night that it all started. The night the Stanley Cup ended when we had the traditional handshake.
Handshake lines,
And,
yeah.
and it was kind of a mystical thing and a very emotional thing after they'd sat. But you never did. They didn't do that after the first round and the second round and the third round, did they?
They have for as long as I can
A
recall.
long
Yes.
time, but not way
But
back.
that's why my guy Billy Smith, the goaltender,
Yes.
he always would leave. He said, "I just tried. Those guys just try to take my money. Why
Yes.
the bleep would I shake their hands?"
That's
He would never shake hands.
yeah, that's another thing. We've made it. We've made the anthem. God, shut up. Let's go here. What are you
That's the
taking
thing is you
so
gotta
long?
the
We've
anthem.
made the anthem so long and the handshakes. We've now now it's a big deal when teams don't shake hands after the game.
Yep.
Save them for championships. Save them for that big
You know what else we don't
emotional
need?
night.
Opening day of baseball. I don't need to have the whole team introduced.
Oh, well,
How about this? The starting nine. I don't need to
yeah.
know who the fifth guy in the bullpen is. I
Yes.
know. I've got a phone. I can look at the roster.
Well, nothing beats the high school league when they're having a state tournament because we got to the introductions, football introductions. You got
Yeah.
student managers, cheerleaders,
Yeah.
band directors,
Yeah.
everybody. The the reason they get behind schedule there is the introductions take hours at the football games.
Oh,
So
yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
we have the girls hockey this weekend, and
Yep.
I looked up a school. One of the teams, the number one seed is Dodge Center, which I think is, turned into a suburb of Rochester. This is small. They've turned into a powerhouse, but River Lakes is in there. And I said, okay, River Lakes, what the hell is that? It's like Albany, Cold Spring, New London, Spicer. It's like 12 different communities have the River Lakes. They should bring a lot of people. It's like eight
Oh,
different
wow.
towns. I think it's interesting. I'd like to see the story on where do they practice? How do they get the kids to? We got these kids in their cars driving all over the country. On
Yeah.
winter roads to go to practice. I wonder how they do their practices because there aren't that many rinks, in Stearns County. So, And this isn't all Stearns County. Some of it's not Stearns County, but it's like 8 different high schools up there.
Wow.
That River Lakes. Chip's got a. Did it get in the paper yet? Chip's got a story coming on the decline of hockey in the first ring suburbs. You know, in
like
places
Kennedy.
like Blooming, Kennedy, and those
They're
places,
done.
Richfield and
Yeah, they're gone.
Burnsville, Apple Valley, and all that stuff. And,
Jefferson.
yeah,
They're still around, but they're way down.
Jefferson and Kennedy kids are going to play in the Jefferson program now, and
Yeah, it's incredible.
it's well, it's it's a lot of it's population,
yeah.
change in population. A lot of it's cost too. It does not cheap to play hockey. So,
Hey,
Minneapolis has one. Minneapolis for years now. I think Joe Dietzick's still coaching them. They had 11 high schools playing hockey. They got one now. So Marshall U was the only one that didn't play hockey, I believe.
Sell me a car before we go, Pat.
Oh man, you know what? I was watching a little TV this morning and I saw an ad for the Buick Envision, the 2024 Envision. They still have those in supply. They got the new ones in the 2025. I'm sure they're pretty similar, but man, that is a nice looking SUV. And the interest rates are low. The factory rebates are high. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. If you want if you want an SUV, bring one into the family. Check it out at Jim Paul, Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers, Apple Valley and Hastings. Plus, a lot of the Sierra heavy-duty trucks are in stock right now. Lots of great vehicles, and let's face it, the sedan is. There's not many sedans around anymore. It's SUVs and trucks, and they have plenty of those at the right price, the right stock, the right options at Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. My guys, Apple Valley and Hastings.
Outstanding. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Patrick.
All right, sir. Thank you.